The night sky over Earth was peaceful. The stars shined as they always had. The moon hung like a silver guardian in the blackness. Cities below glowed with human light, full of life and noise. It was an ordinary night until the sky changed. First, people in Australia saw it. A strange light, brighter than any star, moved fast across the heavens. It wasn't a shooting star. It didn't burn out. It grew larger. The same light appeared minutes later in Japan, then China, then across Europe. Within an hour, every observatory on Earth was tracking it. The object was massive. The news networks broke into programs. An unknown object is entering the solar system, the anchors said. The tone was calm at first, as if they were reporting a science story. But in military bases around the world, alarms were already sounding. In an underground command room somewhere in North America, Admiral Cale stood, with his hands behind his back, staring at a huge holographic display. The object was not alone. Hundreds of smaller signals surrounded it, moving in tight formation. They were not meteors. They were ships. "They're slowing down," a young officer reported, her voice shaking. "Trajectory shows they're heading straight for Earth. Arrival. Less than 18 hours. The room was silent except for the quiet hum of computers. Cale turned to the Global Defense Council's screen. Dozens of leaders from different countries appeared in small holographic windows. Some looked frightened. Others looked angry. "We all see the same thing," Cale said in his deep, calm voice. "The Imperial fleet has arrived." The words made the room colder. Everyone had heard the name Imperial fleet before. Whispers from deep space probes intercepted alien signals, but no one believed they would ever come to Earth. A scientist on the call asked, "Can we communicate? Maybe they're not hostile." Cale didn't answer immediately. He watched as the alien fleet's formation tightened. The largest ship, a massive wedge-shaped vessel the size of a city, moved to the front. Then, without warning, every human communication channel lit up. The voice that came through was cold, metallic, and full of arrogance. "People of Earth, I am Lord Valor of the Imperial Dominion. Your planet is now under our rule. Surrender your governments, your armies, and your resources, or be destroyed. You have 1 hour to decide." The message ended. The alien ships remained silent and still in space, their weapons not yet firing, but ready. Around the world, panic spread like fire. People filled the streets. Governments scrambled to prepare. Fighter jets took to the skies, and orbital defense platforms powered up. But compared to the size of the alien fleet, Earth's defenses looked like toys. In the command room, a younger general turned to Kyle. "Sir, we can't fight them. They'll wipe us out." Kyle's eyes narrowed. He spoke quietly, but his voice carried weight. "That's what they think, and that is why they came here without fear." One of the leaders asked, "Are you saying we can win?" Kyle allowed himself a small smile. "I'm saying they don't know what's waiting for them." The clock ticks. 50 minutes remained. The alien ships moved closer, their black metal hulls blocking out the stars. They arranged themselves in a battle line above Earth, orbiting slowly, like wolves circling prey. On the streets of major cities, giant holograms appeared in the sky, broadcasts from the Imperial fleet. The alien leader's image towered over the buildings. His face was reptilian, his eyes burning with cruel confidence. "Earth," he said again, "this is your only warning. Kneel and live, resist and be erased." Some people cried. Others shouted in anger. Many simply watched, frozen by fear. In space, human defense satellites locked onto targets. But Cale had not given the order to fire. Instead, he walked to a quiet console in the corner of the command room. He inserted a small data chip. The screen lit up with a single message: "Activate Shadow Protocol." An officer hesitated. "Sir, that's classified Omega. Are you sure?" Kyle's voice was steady. "I have never been more sure." The command was sent. Somewhere in deep space, far beyond the moon, a silent signal pulsed outward. It was not detected by the alien fleet. First contact, 30 minutes to the deadline. Without warning, a smaller alien ship broke formation and descended toward Earth. It entered the atmosphere over the Pacific Ocean, moving so fast that air turned to fire around it. In Hawaii, people on the beach watched in shock as the craft hovered over the water. It released hundreds of metallic drones, each one scanning the area. The drones flew over ships, planes, and cities, recording everything. The Imperial commander's voice echoed in Kale's ear through a private channel. "Admiral, we see your world's defenses. They are pathetic. Do you truly wish to lose billions of lives for nothing?" Kale did not respond right away. He studied the alien fleet's formation, memorizing every gap, every weak point. When he finally spoke, his tone was calm but sharp. "You came here thinking we are weak. You came here thinking this will be easy." There was a pause. The alien commander chuckled, a low, rumbling sound. "It will be," Valor said. Kyle's eyes hardened. "We'll see." The deadline 10 minutes left. The alien fleet's weapons began to glow, a sign they were charging. The massive flagship aimed its main cannon toward Earth. In every city, air raid sirens screamed. People rushed underground. Fighter jets swarmed the skies. Naval fleets positioned themselves for missile launches, but against the size of the alien ships, it felt hopeless. 5 minutes left. A tremor ran through the alien formation. One of their smaller ships flickered on sensors, then vanished completely. No explosion, no debris, just gone. Alien officers scrambled to scan the area, but the ship's signal had disappeared from all systems. The commander barked orders, assuming it was a malfunction. 4 minutes left. Another alien ship vanished. Then another. The Imperial flagship's bridge filled with nervous chatter. "Lord Valor," one officer reported, "ships are disappearing on the outer rim. No enemy. Detected. No hyperspace jump signature." Valor's voice was sharp. "Find the cause, now." The moment before, fire 2 minutes left. In the command room, Kyle stood silently, watching the alien fleet's confusion grow. The Shadow Protocol was working faster than he expected, but this was only the beginning. 1 minute left. The alien flagship's main weapon began to hum with power, ready to fire a beam that could burn a city to ash. Kale finally gave the order. Phase 2. Now. All around the solar system, human stealth ships, long hidden in asteroid fields and dark orbits, powered up. Their weapons were locked on targets. And then, 0 minutes left. The alien commander's voice roared over all channels. "Earth has chosen death." The flagship's main cannon began to glow brighter than the sun. But before it could fire, something impossible happened. A beam of blue-white light, fired from somewhere near the moon, tore through the darkness. It struck the flagship dead center. Its shields collapsed instantly. The ship shook violently as alarms screamed inside. Kyle's voice echoed calmly in the human command room. "Welcome to Earth." And in that moment, the galaxy's most feared fleet realized this battle would not be as easy as they thought. The blast from near the moon had shocked the Imperial fleet. For the first time in centuries, an enemy had struck them first. Inside the alien flagship, alarms screamed. Officers ran to their stations. Lord Valor's claws dug into the metal, armrest of his command chair. His voice was a deep growl. "Find them! Now!" Sensors scanned the void, but the attacker was nowhere to be seen. It was as if the shot had come from empty space. Earth holds its breath. In the human command room, the mood was tense but focused. The strike on the flagship was only a warning. It had done little real damage, but it had shaken the invaders. Admiral Cale's eyes stayed locked on the tactical display. They'll come harder now. This is when they make mistakes. Around him, officers worked quickly. Communications remained silent, no broadcasts to the public. Cale wanted the people of Ione, Earth, to see victory, not panic. The Imperial response. 5 minutes after the hit, 3 alien warships broke away from the main fleet. They were smaller than the flagship, but still massive, each the size of a skyscraper. Their hulls gleamed black and silver under the sunlight as they descended toward Earth. Their mission was clear: destroy one of humanity's major cities as punishment. Lord Valar's voice carried across all human channels. You will regret your defiance. Watch as we erase your capital. The target. New York City. The descent over the Atlantic Ocean. People looked up and saw 3 burning trails in the sky. At first, they thought it was meteors. Then they saw the shapes, long, sharp ships covered in alien symbols. The invaders moved with terrifying speed. Fighter jets scrambled to intercept, but their missiles bounced off the alien shields like pebbles against a wall. Panic spread. Traffic froze. Millions tried to escape, but there was no time. Cale's hidden move back in the command room. Cale gave a quiet order. Send in Ghost Squadron. The officers hesitated. Sir, they haven't been tested in live combat. Cale didn't look away from the screen. They'll be tested now. High above Earth, 3 human ships emerged from stealth mode. They were unlike any public military vessel, sleek, black, and almost invisible against space. Their surfaces shimmered faintly, bending light around them. Ghost Squadron dove toward the alien attackers. The first clash. The alien ships detected them too late. Ghost 1 fired first. 3 glowing projectiles streaked across the sky and hit an alien warship's engines. The explosion ripped through the rear of the ship, sending debris into the ocean below. But the other 2 alien ships adjusted instantly. Their weapons lit up, spitting streams of red plasma at the human fighters. Ghost 2 took a glancing hit. Smoke poured from its hull, but it stayed in the fight. From the ground, people in New York watched in awe as bright flashes painted the sky. Some thought it was the end of the world. Others whispered, maybe humans could win. The turning point Ghost 3, the smallest of the squadron, dived under an alien ship's belly. It released a cluster of small spheres, miniature drones carrying high-energy charges. They latched onto the alien hull like insects. 3 seconds later, they detonated. The second alien ship split in half, falling into the ocean with a thunderous splash that sent waves crashing onto the shore. But the last alien ship broke formation and shot straight toward New York. Its main cannon glowed brighter and brighter, aiming at the city's heart. From the command room, Cale's voice was sharp. Ghost 1, stop it now! Ghost 1 accelerated, pushing its engines beyond safe limits. It fired 2 shots directly into the cannon's core. For a moment, there was silence. Then, the alien ship exploded in a blinding flash. The people of New York looked up at the smoke-filled sky. The invaders were gone. Aftermath in the alien flagship. Lord Valar's anger was like fire. 3 of his ships had been destroyed by humans. He leaned forward, eyes glowing with fury. Enough games. Prepare the cleansing beam. Wipe their defenses from orbit. In the human command room, Cale saw the flagship's weapon systems powering up again. He knew the next move would be their deadliest yet. Cale gave one quiet order. It's time to wake the Shadow Fleet. The alien flagship floated in orbit like a dark mountain against the stars. Its hull shimmered with energy as massive cannons began to charge. Inside, Lord Valar's voice cut through the noise. Enough hesitation. Prepare the cleansing beam. I want every human defense gone within the hour. Officers obeyed, but there was a problem. One of the flagship's escort cruisers wasn't there. The first vanishing at first. They thought it had drifted out of sensor range. Then its signal vanished completely. No wreckage, no explosion, no hyperspace jump. It was simply gone. An alien technician looked up nervously. "Lord Valar, Ship 7 is missing." Valar's eyes narrowed. "Ships don't just vanish. Find it." Earth watches in the human command room. Admiral Kale leaned over the holographic display. A small blue dot, representing the missing alien cruiser, blinked twice, and then disappeared from the map. An officer turned to Kale. "Sir, was that us?" Kale gave a small, knowing smile. "That was the Shadow Fleet. Shadow Fleet in motion far beyond the moon, hidden inside the asteroid belt. Black warships moved silently through the darkness. They were human ships, but nothing like the ones shown in public. Their hulls absorbed all light, making them nearly invisible. They carried weapons designed not to fight, but to erase. When a shadow ship fired, there was no beam, no missile, trail, only a sudden, violent burst of energy inside the target. The missing alien cruiser had been their first victim. The panic begins minutes later. A second alien ship flickered on the alien flagship's display, then vanished. "Another one!" an alien officer shouted. Valar's tail lashed angrily against the floor. "Where are they going? Who is attacking us?" Sensors scanned the entire area, but nothing appeared. The Shadow Fleet was too far, too stealthy, and too quiet. Testing the enemy, Kale studied the alien reaction closely. "They're scared now," he said softly. "Good. We'll make them paranoid." He gave the order. "Target 3 more, different. Positions. Don't leave a pattern." The Shadow Fleet moved like predators in the dark. Within 15 minutes, 3 more alien ships were gone, swallowed by silence. Alien confusion. Inside the Imperial flagship, chaos grew. Reports came from every officer. Ships missing, others refusing to move into certain zones, scanners failing. "This is impossible," one alien muttered. "Humans cannot have this technology," Valar snarled. "You underestimate them. That will be the last mistake you make." The counterattack. Determined to fight back, Valar ordered all remaining ships to fire into the asteroid belt. Dozens of plasma blasts lit up space, smashing rock into dust. But they hit nothing. The Shadow Fleet had already moved, and was now behind them. The next disappearance. One alien destroyer turned to face the belt, only for its rear section to vanish in a silent flash. The front half drifted aimlessly before exploding. That was the moment Lord Valar realized something. Dangerous. He was no longer the hunter. He was the prey. The Imperial fleet had always been feared. In every war they fought, their enemies either surrendered at first sight or were erased in hours. But above Earth, something was different. Ships were vanishing. Sensors were failing. And for the first time, the Imperial commander, Lord Valar, felt the cold grip of uncertainty. The silent hunter, in the darkness beyond the moon, the Shadow Fleet moved like a living shadow. 30 human warships, hidden for decades, glided through space without a sound. Their armor drank in starlight, making them invisible even to the most advanced scanners. The world had never seen these ships before, not even most of Earth's own military. They were humanity's last and most dangerous secret. At the front of the fleet was the Phantom Spear, Admiral Kale's flagship. It was larger than the rest, shaped like a blade, its surface smooth and dark. Inside, Kale stood at the central command table, studying the alien formation. "They still think we are scattered," he said quietly. "They're wrong." Valar's pushback in orbit, Valar ordered his ships forward. "Form the vanguard, every weapon aimed at Earth. Fire when ready." The massive alien vessels moved into position. Their glowing cannons lit the black of space with red light, preparing to unleash devastation on the planet below. But before they could fire, something unexpected happened. The reveal sensors across. The Imperial fleet suddenly detected movement, dozens of new contacts appearing from nowhere. Not from hyperspace, not from cloaking. They were just there. Black shapes rose from behind the moon, from asteroid fields, even from the shadow of the Earth itself. Each one glided silently into battle formation. The alien officers froze. Unknown. "Fleet detected!" one shouted. "They match no records in the galactic database!" Lord Valar stared at the display. "What are those?" Kale speaks on the Phantom Spear. Kale opened a wide-band transmission to the alien flagship. His voice was calm, almost polite. "Lord Valar, you came here to take our world. You will leave here with nothing." Valar's reply was a snarl. "You dare speak to me as an equal? We are the Imperial Dominion!" Kale's eyes didn't waver. Not for long. The first strike Kale gave the order. All ships, target their flagship first. The Shadow Fleet moved in perfect silence, but their weapons roared like thunder. Beams of blue-white light lanced across space, slamming into the alien flagship's shields. The impact was instant and brutal. The flagship's outer defenses collapsed faster than the aliens could respond. Alien retaliation. The rest of the Imperial fleet opened fire. Red plasma bolts streaked toward the Shadow Fleet, but the human ships were fast, far faster than anything the aliens had ever faced. Shadow Fleet ships weaved between enemy fire, striking back with precision. Every hit they scored wasn't just damaging, it was crippling. The turning of the stars in less than 10 minutes, the space above Earth had changed. The once perfect formation of the Imperial fleet was broken. Half their ships were either destroyed or drifting powerless. On the alien flagship's bridge, Lord Valar slammed his fist into the armrest. "How can they fight like this? They're primitives!" Kale's final words in the battle on the Phantom Spear. Kale watched another alien cruiser explode. He spoke into the comms, only 3 words, but they carried across every human and alien channel. "Welcome to the Shadow War." And with that, the Shadow Fleet surged forward, cutting through the Imperial Armada like a blade through paper. The battle above Earth was chaos. Flashes of light ripped through the darkness. Wreckage of alien ships drifted like silent ghosts. But one ship still stood strong, the Imperial flagship. It was the heart of the Armada. It was Lord Valar's throne, and Admiral Kale knew if it fell, the rest would crumble. The monster in orbit, the alien flagship, was enormous, 10 times larger than any human ship. Its hull was covered in thick, glowing armor. Hundreds of cannons lined its sides, firing constantly at the Shadow Fleet. Every hit from the humans made dents, but nothing serious. It was like trying to kill a giant with arrows. Kale's plan inside the Phantom Spear. Kale studied the flagship's weak points. He had fought enough battles to know one truth. Every fortress had a door, if you could find it. "There," he said, pointing to the hologram. "A small section near the rear engines. That's their power conduit. Hit it, and their shields will collapse." The Gauntlet 3 Shadow Fleet ships broke away from the fight. They raced toward the flagship at full speed, weaving through streams of red plasma. One ship was hit and exploded instantly. The other 2 kept going. The flagship's guns turned to track them. Missiles screamed past, just barely missing their targets. Ghost 2 and Ghost 3 were seconds away from the conduit. The breach Ghost 2 fired first, a burst of blue-white energy. It slammed into the conduit, cracking the armor. Ghost 3 followed with a payload of kinetic warheads. The impact shook the entire flagship. Inside, alien officers screamed as lights flickered and shields dropped to 0. Lord Valar's eyes widened. "Shields are down!" Kale's final push on. The Phantom Spear. Kale gave the order. "All ships, fire everything you have!" The Shadow Fleet unleashed hell. Dozens of beams, missiles, and railgun shots tore into the exposed flagship. Sections of its hull split open. Fires erupted inside. Its mighty cannons fell silent one by one. The last stand of Valor even. As the flagship burned, Valor refused to surrender. "Turn us toward Earth. If we fall, we take their capital with us." The flagship's engines roared, forcing the burning ship forward. But Kyle was ready. "Shadow Spear," Kyle commanded. "Fire!" The kill shot from the Phantom. Spear's underside, a long, glowing spear of pure energy launched forward. It pierced straight through the flagship's core. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, the Imperial flagship erupted into a massive explosion, brighter than the sun for a second. The shockwave tore through nearby alien ships, sending debris, spinning into the void. Silence in space. When the light faded, the flagship was gone, nothing left but fragments drifting slowly away. The rest of the Imperial fleet froze. Their commander was dead. Their pride was shattered. For the first time in centuries, the Armada retreated. But Kale wasn't smiling in the Phantom Spear. Cheers erupted. But Kale's eyes stayed on the scanner, deep, in the darkness of space. Something bigger than the flagship was moving, and it was coming toward Earth. The wreckage of the Imperial flagship still floated in orbit, burning faintly against the stars. The Shadow Fleet held position, scanning for survivors, repairing shields, and watching for any last enemy ships. But in Admiral Kale's mind, something was wrong. The battle had been too easy. Yes, they had lost ships. Yes, the fight was hard. But the Imperial Dominion was known for never sending their true strength first. And then, the scanners screamed. The shape in the dark far beyond the moon, a shadow, moved against the starlight. At first it looked like an asteroid. Then lights began to glow across its surface, hundreds of them spreading like veins of fire. The object was enormous, not the size of a ship, not even the size of a station. It was the size of a small moon. The Imperial trump card on the Shadow Fleet's main screen, the shape finally came into view. It was round, armored in black and gold, bristling with weapons that looked big enough to split a planet. And in its center, a massive glowing cannon charged with deadly energy, the Eclipse, the Dominion's secret superweapon. It had destroyed entire star systems in the past. And now it was aimed at Earth. Panic in command. Inside the human command room on Earth, officers shouted over each other, "That thing can break our atmosphere in one shot. We need the fleet to intercept. Sir, even the Shadow Fleet may not survive this." Kale's voice cut through the noise. "We will survive, but we'll have to fight smarter than ever." A deadly timeline. The Eclipse moved slowly, but with purpose. Scans showed its main cannon charging. At full power, it could fire in 15 minutes. If it fired, nothing on Earth would survive. The first strike. Without warning, the Eclipse fired a smaller weapon, just a test shot. A beam of white energy hit one of Earth's defense stations in orbit, erasing it instantly. No explosion, no debris, just gone. The Shadow Fleet watched in silence. If that was the small gun. Kyle's plan. B. Kyle turned to his officers. "We can't fight that head-on. We need to get inside it." A silence fell in the room. "Inside it?" one officer asked. Kale nodded. "The Eclipse is too big to shield every part. Somewhere, there's a way in. And once we're in, we take out the core." A race against time, the Shadow Fleet split into two groups. One group stayed in the open, firing and drawing the Eclipse's attention. The other, led by Kale in the Phantom Spear, began a dangerous run toward the massive weapon. Alien fighters swarmed around them, trying to block the path. Missiles and beams lit up the darkness. Every second mattered. The moment of truth, as the Phantom Spear closed in, Kyle saw it, an opening near the base of the massive cannon. A docking hatch, unguarded for now. He opened comms to his team. "That's our door. We take it now or Earth burns." The Shadow Fleet dove in, But inside the eclipse, unseen by the humans, deep within the eclipse, alien crews moved with mechanical precision. And in the heart of the weapon, something even more dangerous than the cannon was waking up. Something alive. The phantom spear slipped into the docking hatch like a shadow disappearing into the night. No alarms, no resistance, almost too easy. Inside, the airlock hissed shut behind them. The crew tightened their armor, checked their weapons, and followed Admiral Kyle into the unknown. A world within. The interior of the Eclipse was nothing, like a normal warship. It was vast, wide corridors, ceilings so high they disappeared into shadow, and strange glowing lines running along the walls like veins. The air was warm, heavy, and carried a faint hum, as if the entire place was alive. "One," officer whispered. "Sir, this doesn't feel like a ship." Kale's jaw tightened. "It's not just a ship. Keep moving." The heart beat as they advanced. The hum grew louder, rhythmic, steady, almost like a heartbeat. The sound echoed through the walls, making the floor tremble under their boots. A sudden shadow moved above them. The humans froze. Something was crawling on the ceiling, tall, thin, and mechanical, but with movements that looked disturbingly organic. It had no face, only a single glowing red eye that scanned the hallway below. The Guardians! The creature dropped from the ceiling without warning. Its limbs snapped out like blades, cutting through the air toward the nearest soldier. Gunfire erupted. The thing screeched, not in sound, but in a sharp, metallic vibration that rattled their bones. When it fell, its body melted into the floor, as if absorbed by the ship itself. Kale stared at the spot. "They're not just guards," he said. "They're part of the Eclipse, the core chamber after fighting through more of the strange. Guardians." The team reached a massive chamber. In the center, suspended by thick cables, was something that made the crew stop in horror. It wasn't a machine, it was a creature. A massive alien, bigger than a human building, its body fused with metal plating and wires. Its chest rose and fell slowly, each breath causing the heartbeat sound they had been hearing. Pipes ran from its body into the walls, pumping glowing energy throughout the Eclipse. The truth, one of the officers whispered. "That's the power source." Kale nodded grimly. "The Eclipse is alive, and this thing is its heart." Suddenly, the creature's eyes opened. They glowed a deep, burning gold, and then it spoke, its voice echoing directly in their minds. "You cannot kill me without killing yourselves." The countdown back in space, the Eclipse's main cannon was almost fully charged. Earth had less than 5 minutes before the shot. Inside the ship, Kale looked up at the monstrous alien heart. He didn't have 5 minutes. He raised his weapon. "Then we'll just have to be faster." The chamber shook as the alien heart's voice echoed in the humans' minds. The Eclipse itself seemed to come alive, walls shifting, metal twisting, and the glowing lines pulsing faster, like veins pumping adrenaline. Admiral Kale tightened his grip on his rifle. "Squad Alpha, cover me! Squad Beta, find a way to overload those cables!" The first wave, from the walls, the floor, even the ceiling, the Guardians began to emerge. Dozens of thin, blade-limbed constructs poured into the chamber, their single red eyes glowing like tiny suns. The humans opened fire. Bullets tore through metal bodies, sparks flying in every direction. But for every Guardian that fell, 2 more took its place. The heart fights back. The alien heart's eyes flared brighter. The hum became a deep, vibrating roar. Suddenly, gravity inside the chamber shifted. Soldiers were slammed against the walls, weapons pulled from their hands. Kale gritted his teeth, using his armor's magnetic grips to hold position. "This thing's using the ship's systems to crush us!" The desperate move one of Kale's engineers shouted over comms. "Sir, if we blow those main cables, the energy will feed back into the creature. It might kill it." Might? Kale asked. The engineer shrugged mid-fight. It'll definitely kill something. The charge Kale made his choice. Alpha, keep them busy. Beta, plant charges on those cables, now! The Beta squad fought their way to the massive glowing conduits that ran from the alien's body into the walls. Each cable was thicker than a human torso, humming with raw power. They slapped explosive packs onto the metal and primed them. The final warning. The alien's voice thundered again, shaking their skulls. Destroy me, and your planet burns with my death cry. Kyle ignored it. You've been holding Earth hostage long enough. Detonation. All charges set, Beta called. Kyle gave the order. Do it! The explosives went off in a blinding flash. The cables shattered, spewing arcs of blue-white lightning across the chamber. The alien screamed, not in sound, but in a psychic shockwave that made every human drop to their knees. Collapse. The alien's chest convulsed, its golden eyes dimmed. The walls of the eclipse began to split apart, molten metal dripping from the ceiling. In space, the massive weapon's glow faded. The cannon died before it could fire. The race to escape. Mission accomplished, Kyle said. But we're not dead yet. Move! The humans sprinted through collapsing corridors, dodging falling debris and explosions. Behind them, the alien. Hart's final pulse shook the entire ship. But outside... As the phantom spear burst out of the docking hatch, Kale looked back. The eclipse was breaking apart, but something in the wreckage was still moving. Something that looked like it was regrowing. The phantom spear sped away from the wreckage, its engines burning bright as it pushed toward the safety of the Shadow Fleet. Inside, the crew was exhausted, armor scorched, ammo nearly gone, minds still echoing with the alien Hart's psychic. Scream! They had done it! The eclipse was destroyed! Or so they thought. The impossible sight. Admiral, the sensor officer said slowly, you might want to see this. Kyle walked to the screen and froze. In the void where the eclipse had broken apart, pieces of debris were moving, not drifting, pulling together. Giant shards of metal floated toward each other, locking into place like puzzle pieces. Glowing threads of energy stitched the gaps, and black armor plates began to reform. The eclipse was rebuilding itself. The second heartbeat at first. There was silence. Then, K-Thoom! A slow, deep thud echoed through the comm systems. The heartbeat was back. Kale's eyes narrowed. That thing didn't die. We just woke it up. The fleet reacts. The Shadow Fleet's ships began to fire at the reforming structure. Beams and missiles struck the surface, tearing holes. But the holes closed almost instantly, as if the ship was drinking in the energy of the attacks. One captain shouted over the comm, "Sir, our weapons are making it stronger." The dark realization. The science officer on the Phantom Spear spoke in a shaking voice. Admiral, I think the heart we destroyed wasn't its main core. It was just a node. The true core might be deep inside the central frame, protected by layers we never reached. Kale stared at the growing shape on the screen. Meaning, we've only made it angry. The voice returns. Without warning, the voice of the alien returned, echoing in every human mind across the fleet. You have tasted victory, and it is hollow. This battle is only the beginning. The new form. The Eclipse's rebuilt body looked different now, sleeker, deadlier. Massive spines jutted from its surface, and smaller, spinning weapon platforms detached from its hull like swarms of hornets. It was no longer just a superweapon, it was an evolving predator. A choice in the shadows, Kale's second-in-command asked quietly, "Sir, do we fight here or run?" Kale didn't answer right away. He looked at Earth, glowing blue and fragile, in the distance. He looked at the eclipse, growing stronger by the second. Finally, he spoke. We run, but we don't hide. The plan Kale turned to the fleet comms. All ships, fall back to Shadow Base Delta. We regroup, rearm, and find its real heart. Next time, we finish this. The fleet began to retreat, engines burning hard. Behind them, the eclipse slowly turned toward Earth again, its new weapons humming to life. The Shadow Fleet gathered in the cold dark near Shadow Base Delta. Every ship was being repaired, weapons upgraded, and ammunition loaded. The mood was tense. They all knew the truth. This next battle would decide if Earth lived or burned. Admiral Kale stood in the command room, staring at a massive hologram of the eclipse. It was still moving toward Earth, slowly but without stopping, like a predator stalking prey. The true core. The science officer spoke first. We've studied its rebuild pattern. The alien ship has something deeper than the heart we destroyed, an inner core hidden in a shielded chamber near the center. It's surrounded by multiple energy layers. Nothing we've used so far can get through. Kale didn't look away from the hologram. Then we don't go through, we go inside. The suicide plan, the strategy was simple and terrifying. A small strike team would board the eclipse again, using stolen Imperial codes from the last mission. They would travel through its regenerating hull, find the true core, and destroy it from within. Even if it meant they wouldn't make it. Back, Kale didn't ask for volunteers. He didn't need to. Every soldier in the room stepped forward. The approach. The Phantom Spear led the mission, escorted by 3 smaller stealth craft. As they neared the eclipse, the alien ship's golden eyes turned toward them, almost as if it recognized its old enemy. Kyle could feel the voice in his head again. Come closer, little humans. Let me end you properly. Inside the beast, using the stolen codes, the Phantom Spear slipped through a docking port before the Eclipse's defenses could fully react. Inside, the corridors were different from last time, narrower, sharper, like veins leading to a heart. Every step deeper was hotter, the air heavy with energy. The hum of the ship was no longer slow and steady. It was rapid, furious, like the pulse of something ready to strike. The core chamber. Finally, they reached it. The true core wasn't a creature like before. It was worse. A massive sphere of pure golden light floated in a chamber of black metal, suspended by tendrils of living machinery. Every few seconds, arcs of power shot out, shaking the ship. The voice thundered in their minds again. Destroy me, and the stars will fall. The last stand guardians poured into the chamber, dozens at first, then hundreds. The humans fought back with everything they had, rifles, grenades, plasma cutters. Kale's armor took hit after hit, but he didn't stop. One by one, the strike team planted charges around the core. The chamber shook violently. Some of the tendrils began lashing out, smashing soldiers aside. The choice. The timer on the explosives read 0030. Kale opened the comm to the Phantom Spear. Get the ship out of here. Sir, we're not leaving. Without you! That's an order! Kale stayed behind as the rest of the team fell back. He stood in front of the glowing sphere, rifle in hand, staring into its golden light. You hunted the wrong species, he said quietly. The charges exploded. Light swallowed the chamber. The eclipse shuddered, its golden eyes going dark. In space, the massive ship split apart, its pieces scattering into the void. The Phantom Spear escaped the blast, but Kale was gone. Back on Earth, people celebrated their survival. But in the far distance, beyond human sensors, something else stirred. A signal, faint but growing, pulsed in the dark. The hunt was not over.